We know of the terrible atrocities committed in the Sudan war that's been widely documented, widely reported on. We know of the UAE's role in it. And now, it's another piece to that puzzle. We know that there's Colombian mercenaries participating in it. And of course, we've seen this textbook play out in Yemen, where also Colombian mercenaries were hired by the UAE to fight in Yemen. How far do you think the UAE is willing to go to further its interests in this or that conflict?
It's an incredibly disturbing pattern of foreign intervention that we have documented over the past decade, going as far back, as you said, to Yemen, the UAE being a part of the international coalition that carried out scores of indiscriminate, disproportionate airstrikes on civilians and civilian objects in Yemen, in addition to the fact that they supported abusive local forces, particularly in southern Yemen. We also can look to Libya as well, where Human Rights Watch again documented the UAE carrying out unlawful airstrikes and supporting abusive proxy forces. And now in Sudan, and arguably of all of these sort of proxy forces that the UAE has been linked to, the RSF is responsible for some of the worst, crimes against humanity, war crimes that we have come across. So with each stage of intervention that we've documented, it seems that the UAE keeps betting on, an even more abusive actor. And unfortunately, the international community has remained silent and remains silent to this day. And I think that has, allowed the UAE to act with even greater impunity in how it intervenes in these conflicts. We are 3 years into this war in Sudan, and the evidence of UAE military support to the RSF is mounting day by day. And allied governments of the UAE continue to rely on the weakest language possible. They are still saying that, quote unquote, external actors are fueling the war and are too cravenly and cowardly to call the UAE out by name. And that is appalling and needs to stop. And that's one of our main recommendations in this report, is that the UAE's allies, particularly the UK, the US, the EU member states, need to call a spade and call the UAE out by name. We're also calling on authorities to investigate with a view to imposing sanctions on Global Security Services Group and its CEO, Mohammed Hamdan al-Zabi. As I said, a number of the Colombia-based entities and companies have already been sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department. And, it's important to get to the heart of the operation, which is these individuals and entities that are very likely, hiring and sort of backing the operation. So it's important for those investigations to go forward. It's totally unacceptable at this point that the British government, that the US government, that the EU is still failing to call the UAE out by name. And I think that's why we are here and why the UAE has been able to get away with its, abusive actions abroad for so long. Human Rights Watch has called for an arms embargo on the UAE and the cutting off of weapons and other equipment sales for many years, given their, deleterious role in human rights in Yemen and Libya for so long. We still haven't seen that. And I think the UAE is such a clear case whereby economic, trade, and security relationships have, totally sidelined the role of human rights and the importance of human rights. Just last week, we saw the UK government sign a free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, of which the UAE is a clear member. We had been asking for more transparency, whether there will be any human rights protections in that agreement from the UK government, received absolutely no response. And, we have this very happy announcement by the British government just a few days before we're releasing this report showcasing the UAE's role in Sudan and its support of the RSF. Remains to be seen whether the British government will come out with any strong statements condemning the UAE's role. We really hope they will do that, but unfortunately they've been extremely hesitant to take any serious action on these abuses so far.
Thank you so much for coming today and for speaking with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.